Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners of all ages, are you bored with traditional and dull real estate content?
Yes!
Do you want to be entertained by the most successful, innovative, and forward-thinking industry professionals?
Yes!
Do you want to elevate your business, be challenged to take action, and raise the bar in your personal and business dojo?
Yeah!
Now welcome your ninja host, Jeff Fitzer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Today I bring to you all the way from the West Coast, Mr. Jason Holdinski, who is the Hyper Farmer. He brings a ton of value to his real estate agents. And I am going to let Jason introduce himself and talk to you about what it is he does for you, the real estate agents. Jason, welcome aboard.
Thanks a lot, Jeff. Thanks for having me today. For those of you that don't know me, I started the Hyper Farmer about 3 years now. And, it came to the point where I was selling these marketing websites for real estate agents and marketing widgets. And I just didn't see the value that I was adding to my clients as I was really bringing them on with some of the other companies that I worked for throughout the years. So just conceptually, I had a firm understanding, or at least I thought, that would really unravel if I kind of presented it to some of my clients when I first started out. And here we are 3 years later. And I guess componently what we're made of is direct mail mastery and then positioning websites to really be in accordance with that direct mail. And then we also do advertising through Facebook and pay-per-click. And, really the whole bundle is putting all of these things in unison with one another and creating automated systems that would really spitfire everything that we do.
Awesome. Let's take a step backwards. What spawned this? What brought you into this? What created the Hyper Farmer? What need was out there that you were creating for real estate professionals, I guess?
That's a good question, Jeff. I think, a couple of burning sensations that old bosses said that they were better than me and their ideas were the best. That was, I think, the one that really had the chip on the shoulder to say, hey, go put your faith in this and go make it happen. But I think, what it boils down to is just, I see working with the agents that I'm involved with, I see what works and what doesn't work. And I think what's made me very successful in this industry is just having an understanding that, my product is not the one-all be-all product that is going to make $1 million. So I really kind of absorb different phases of people's marketing and engulf it into what we do. So we're not really realigning a full marketing program. We're just taking the fundamental things that work for the agents and then tightening the nuts and bolts to provide that full service type of real estate marketing model.
So when you started though, what was your first product that you were focusing on?
Okay, great question. So, and sorry if that one flew over my head here. I worked at these real estate internet companies that would plug in IDX feeds and say, here you go, good luck, learn how to use the IDX, so on and so forth.
Stop right there. Explain what an IDX feed is.
So IDX, Internet Data Exchange, that will, gather all of the information contained within an MLS and then spitfire it into a website and give you the ability to plug in active listings and showcase your properties to another level on your own website. So I had that understanding and that firm grip of how that aspect of marketing worked. And what I've realized over the years is a lot of these tools that are used on websites, they're really buyer oriented. So with the Hyper Farmer, I really took the concept of, well, let's go into these niche neighborhoods, find out what's selling, what kind of activities involved with this community, and then let's start pulling statistics that are specific to this neighborhood and start putting that all together. We started Hyper Farmer. Traditional, we take the real estate term farming.
So you're talking about not going out into a field in a tractor, right?
Correct. Yeah, farming in the essence, we want to nurture and throw seeds that will grow. So that tractor really is the individual agent, if you will, because they're the one throwing the seeds in the community and growing their business from that perspective. And I think, more importantly with that, what we really did from a concept perspective is we took niche communities versus just oh, I sell in St. Louis or I sell in San Diego. We really started hyper locally putting these marketing pieces out that's specific to these territories or niche markets or condo buildings, et cetera, to really make it niche specific, if you will.
Awesome. Where are you out of? Where are you based out of?
San Diego and Arizona. So I run 2 offices, one in Arizona and one in San Diego now. Started the business in San Diego 3 years ago. I would say out of our 600 clients that we have right now, 200 of them reside in San Diego. So, but we are national now. We're clients from Florida to Hawaii. So pretty cool.
Right on. So I'm a real estate agent here in the Midwest. I'm not, but let's say I was a real estate agent here in the Midwest and
Sure.
I want to know more about what you can do for me and my business. And let's just say I have a website that was given to me by my broker and I've done some farming. I've co-branded with my mortgage guy and I've done some things like that. I've gone out and done things on my own. What can you do to elevate my business from what I would say is probably what the average real estate agent does?
Yeah, it would really be going above and beyond and taking your branding to another level and showcasing you as a neighborhood expert. Even if you don't have sales, with us pulling the sales statistics in these areas, we're showcasing relevant activity, which educates and adds value to the potential seller. So a lot of, websites that are provided through the brokerage or type of co-branded marketing pieces, those are kind of set in stone pieces. So what we'll add in addition is elaborate with content and really some added thought value that's cohesive with our actual agents' wants and needs.
So what separates you from anybody else where they can go to and get this sort of marketing activity?
Well, the fact that we have great, awesome in-house designers that work on a one-on-one level versus just clicking and ordering some pieces on, online on some kind of e-commerce postcard company. I think the ultimate difference is the more customization and the more understanding that it takes more than just a cookie cutter type of design and thought process with marketing. So we really think outside the box and bring that all together for our agents, as a whole.
Very cool. What would you say is probably one of the most popular items or the item most requested that you guys are working on right now, that if a real estate agent is listening and says, man, what should I be doing or what am I not doing that everybody else is doing?
Sure. So I think it's really our concepts of circle prospecting strategies at this point in time, where an agent will call me up or call our team up and say, I have this listing that's going live on Saturday. Pictures are being taken Wednesday. I want to get something out by Saturday morning. So on the West Coast, the turnaround time for us in that regard is, we're going to have property brochures, we're going to have flyers, we're going to have pre-listing materials in your hands prior to the listing actually going live. And then more importantly, Jeff, we're going to set our clients up with a just listed, postcard or some kind of door hanger that invites neighbors to come to an open house. We really showcase a circle prospecting strategy that's proven to leverage more listings along the way. It's really a 6 or 7 touch system where we're putting out a postcard, we're putting out a door hanger. Sometimes high school kids will go drop off market report flyers, simple things like that, and really just collectively bringing that all together. It really curtails into a lot of additional listings that they piggyback off the previous, active listing that they're really marketing at that point in time.
Awesome. So you're saying in a nutshell, it's still kind of the old school print marketing type strategies that the majority of agents are still using you for to market a listing, correct?
Yeah, and I think it's always been there. I think the biggest thing that I've witnessed is people expect to get 5 phone calls off of a postcard that they send out. It's just listed, or they expect to get 5 listings just because they put out 2,500 postcards into an area and they just sold the property. It doesn't always work like that. You gotta, in today's day and age, look at Zillow, for example. People go to Zillow, they start looking at properties, and the premier agent just because they pay more money, may be showcased and positioned better than the actual listing agent. So in today's, with all of this technology online, to have a simple mailer just work because they hit the neighborhood one time doesn't necessarily work like that. They have to stay consistent, and they have to be, making an impression a certain period of time before you really gain that trust level, is what my gut feeling really.
Well, you're right. It's the long game. It's absolutely the long game. If anybody thinks they're going to farm a neighborhood or post a video or do something one time and they're going to get dramatic results, they're just wrong. They might get lucky, but you're right. If you're going to farm a neighborhood, you need to probably do it for years before people take you serious and believe that you are that guy or gal who dominates and owns that area.
Completely.
So we talked a little bit about direct mail stuff, and I'm looking at some of the tabs on your website as we speak. And let's move over to website elegance, which is the way that you put it. What is it that you would do to somebody's website to make it stand out versus, or what do you see when people come to you? Do they come to you bare bones with a blank canvas, or do you see people come to you with a very basic WordPress weak website that you need to spruce up?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I guess from my experience, the thing that I see is that websites they can be a dime a dozen. There's a lot of website companies out there, especially in the arena of real estate, that are out there. But, sadly, from my perspective, I've been on this side of the fence and I've worked for some of these website companies. It's all about bringing on that client and really just obtaining a monthly hosting fee, for that bigger company to get to 1,000 clients at $129 a month. And what I find at that point, when you become more involved about just client acquisition versus setting up websites that really are reflective of somebody's business model, that's where the magic really starts to happen. So for us, when I'm bringing on a new client for a website, I really ask the questions like, well, tell me the bells and whistles of your actual business so we can really glorify that on the site so it's reflective of your actual business model. A lot of times I see these websites and, I have IDX, but then their main niche markets aren't even mapped out through those IDX systems. For example, St. Louis, I've been there. I visited one time. They have downtown. They have all of those condos, or those lofts. So, you could map out from your IDX from a loft perspective of the top 20 lofts in downtown St. Louis, and you showcase those through your IDX. Those are the things that are really going to help your website grow versus just plugging in an MLS feed and saying good luck with it.
In other words, you're targeting those areas to where you're going to get seen more often. Is that correct?
Correct. And then think of it this way, Jeff. And then once you start marketing with your print marketing, you're not just driving them to your name.com. You could buy a community website that says stlouislofts.com and drive traffic to that specific portion of the website and get them involved in the website from the print. And then better yet, you can install a pixel on that page and then retarget them and repurpose them with ads on Facebook with reflective things. And I think that's where the disconnect is with marketing today is people have these one-off a la carte items, but they don't really remain mindful of how to connect them all together and how they can work for them rather than against them. So that's what we really try to do is a start to finish marketing plan that really just funnels leads to our clients.
You bring up a good point too, because I think, and I was just having a conversation with a website developer the other day, and he posed the questions to me, and I'm sure all real estate agents and mortgage professionals are the same, in that he said, well, what do you want to do with your website? And as I thought about it, I was thinking, man, I don't know. I think it's really just a landing page. So from our profession to go send somebody to go apply online. And then from a real estate agent's perspective, I think most of them are sending them there to go search for properties. But
Correct.
What is it that they really want? And I think anybody in our industry or any entrepreneur needs to think, what is it that I want my website to do? Because I'm looking at some of these things on your website where you mentioned the IDX, which is awesome. And it's kind of like targeting. And you also mentioned Facebook on here, but you also, there's several tabs for SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is the whole point of really having a website, right? I mean, you want to be able to be found.
Yeah. And more importantly than that, what you have to think of a website like a catalog or a book. that you always got to feed new information into it. I mean, granted, the websites that we build with the IDX and some of the community searches that we, advanced build within our web build process, that will grow the website organically. But just think if you're a producing agent and you have 25 listings a year and you showcase 30-second snippet videos of coming soons on your website each and every time, and then you marketed that on Facebook and drove traffic to that, you could really make your website work for you. And the tendency that I hear all the time is, oh, my website doesn't work. Well, to me, it's like, well, what are you putting into your website to make it want to work for you? And it's usually very little to nothing.
100%. And I'm guilty of this. And I think most of us are guilty of it. And honestly, I don't know what the statistic is, but I would bet you that the majority of industry professionals between mortgage and real estate do not even have personal websites. Or like in our industry, it's very common that they just literally have a landing page. All it is a page to go so they can go apply online, but there's nothing else. You can't learn about the person. You can't be authentic. There's nothing that you can do to educate people. And I think people really need to sit back and think about that and realize, okay, if I really want to take my game to another level and not just be an average real estate professional, I need to not only have a strong website, but it has to be effective. And in other words, they need to be talking to services like you. You can't penny pinch this kind of stuff. You can't be cheap and say, well, I'm just going to put that WordPress website out there. It actually has to be doing something. And that's where you guys can come into play. Not only can you design it, you can host it, you can do all the Facebook mapping, everything.
Right. In the way that I look at it, Jeff, whether, people are working with me or not, I always think about the seller or the buyer. If somebody goes to your website from a business card that you need at a function and you have a website that looks like it was built in 1980, it's kind of exemplifying the way that you proceed with your business to actually market yourself. And, more importantly, our objective for our clients is to generate listings. So you really want to have all of your ducks lined up in a row and say, hey, my marketing is top notch and I'm a marketer. I'm not a real estate agent. That's really where the transactions are done a lot of times, in my opinion.
Amen. Amen. You're not just a real estate agent. You are a marketer. That is what you're doing for your clients. And if you don't have the bells and whistles to go into listing presentations, odds are somebody will, and then you're going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I'm looking through here. So that's websites, which again, real estate agents, mortgage professionals, if you don't have a website, you should seriously consider getting one. And Hyper Farmer literally is a one-stop shop. He does it all for you. That's one really, really good reason to contact Jason. But I'm looking at some of this print stuff. Man, you do literally everything from car magnets and wraps to content writing to, you're not just talking about postcards and door hangers.
Yeah, and you found the website. That's our baby that we're working on right now. That's going to be a fully e-com website.
What does that mean, e-com?
So right now we're taking, our clients will contact us and they'll say, hey, I want 500 postcards. Well, what we're setting up is the ability to create accounts that our clients can literally go on there. They can go shop, they can put their order, and that will go directly to our print, our design and production team. So it's streamlining a couple levels of communication to get the job done more efficient.
This is badass. Literally, if they work with you, they can literally do everything. And I imagine you probably have some real estate agents who literally do everything with you, do they?
They do, yeah. A good handful.
And let me ask you about one other thing that I don't think has become popular. You and I saw this at our last mastermind meeting together, but it was the video cards. And let me preface that by saying this is something that you receive in the mail that, well, just like how they say on social media, email and text, video is everything, right? Well, imagine getting a piece of mail with a video embedded in it. Tell us more about that.
Man, so yeah, they're very powerful. And you and I both agreed on that back in our last mastermind conference that we went to, closing table. And we've put out about 4 or 5 orders right now, but they're super cool. So what we do is we design it. And, from a price perspective, they are not inexpensive. There's a pretty penny attached to them. I think the 2.4-inch LCD screen has about a minute capability. And those are $21.99 per piece with the minimum order of 1,000. but I can tell you this. So what we do is we'll design it more or less just bullet points of the team or the individual agent. We don't really want to, I guess, dynamically niche that type of card unless, the budget opens up for that. Because what we want to do is maybe use 30 of those for probate or 30 of those for divorce or, really type of niche kind of, videos that we would send out that's reflective of, our targeted audience that we want.
And let me elaborate too a little bit, because I think somebody might stop listening when they hear, oh gosh, $21.99 and I have to buy, how many of them did you say?
100. So
100 of them.
But about a $2,200 order.
But you're talking about, for example, and this is where you and I saw it, was if you're hosting an event where you're inviting VIP, top producing people, you want to stand out, you want to get seen, you want that thing to pop. Mm-hmm. How many people in this audience have ever received a video snail mail? I venture to say probably none.
And the cool thing, in my opinion, is we package it too. So we put that's included in the pricing as well, Jeff. So we put it in a first class type of manila envelope. It's not a manila envelope, it's white, and then it has like green around the border, and it says first class all around the border. So we mail that first class, and in comparison to a traditional postcard, just think somebody's home expired and somebody's targeting expireds, right? And they get a postcard saying, hey, we noticed that your home didn't sell, or they get a 1-minute video on educational reasons why homes typically don't sell in that niche neighborhood. They open that video up. Who do you think has more of a threshold and a conversation starter in their hand with that video card?
Absolutely. So actually, why don't you give us an example? So you said you've gotten a few orders. What is their target? What are they doing with these?
Yeah, like I said, it's either like for sale by owners, investor type of properties, probate, divorce, and they're sending out to these niche lead sheets that they get from their resources that they use, whether it be, something like Mojo Dialer, getting leads from them and targeting those leads in addition to their calls. They'll send them out thereafter, really in unison with that type of approach.
Very cool. Very cool. So, and you mentioned something there where you said you mail these for them. So in other words, when you're talking about all of your services, especially when the print mail, they just send you a list, I assume. They send you a database and you handle that for them, correct? We
do. I mean, there's a couple of agents that that we just sent and shipped out the video cards themselves, but there's other ones that they send us the MP4 video and we upload it and then package it, ship them out one by one as the leads come in.
But I'm reverting back to postcards or flyers.
Oh yeah. So yeah, all of that. It's a one-stop shop. You submit your logos, your agent photos, your kind of your bells and whistles that you want within your marketing, and it's all on automation aside from you giving them the green light, thumbs up on approvals.
It's fantastic. And I see you guys even have promo items and yard signs, all kinds of stuff listed on it. I mean, literally, folks, if you're shopping around or moving around to different vendors for these things, why not make it easier on yourself and go to the Hyper Farmer? I don't see any reason not to. Jason, what is it if somebody came to you and asked you and said, what are you looking for? If you were to gain one thing out of being on a podcast, well, what are you looking for?
I made it a point this year to just network with the right people and, get in where I fit in with educating people with what I know. I mean, I think if I could ask for anything, it's just working with the people that want to work with me effortlessly, and I do my job and they know my expectations and take it from there. I mean, I think when I started my business, I wanted to be built off of, personal business relationships versus phone animals begging people to buy websites. I want people to be here and understand that we're here to help them grow any way that we possibly can.
So in other words, if a real estate agent's listening and they say, you know what, I don't know what I want to do, but I'm going to call him. I'm going to let him guide me. You're not opposed to those conversations?
I love those conversations because it shows that they're eager to learn. They're eager to really understand a marketing system that has been proven with, my top clients already across the whole entire nation. So what I would do, I mean, even with like a starting agent, that had, let's say 3 or 4 transactions last year, I would want to understand where they were the previous year and where they want to go in this next year. And then I would always be conscious of a budget. So, I mean, some of our programs agents pay me $8,000 and say, okay, our next 6 months are done. Versus an agent that's newer that says, okay, where do I start? I think to me, it's all about creating a buzz through your website first, before you can actually afford to do direct mail farming effortlessly. I'd rather have somebody build something online that stabilizes, and then we just, red light, green light that whole process and make sure that they're comfortable with things that we're doing.
Awesome. Let's just say I am not, unfortunately, in Arizona or Southern California. How do I find you?
Add me on Facebook, Jason Holdinski. You can search me out there. Shoot me a message there.
Spell that last name for me.
HOLD as in dog, INSKI.
Very good.
And
on the web.
Yeah, on the web. I think the best way to communicate with me now, I'm on the road a lot, giving presentations and speaking to brokerages across the country. I think the best way to kind of arrange an appointment with me would be to send an email to team@hyperfarmer.com. And then my team would orchestrate that conversation to me and arrange, an appointment or a conversation with whomever's interested.
Fantastic. And the website is hyperfarmer.com. That's hyper, HYPER.
Actually, they can check that out, but that's not done yet.
Okay.
I would send them to the hyperfarmer.com for right now. Coincidentally, hyperfarmer.com was not available when I went on this venture 3 years ago, and it's since expired, and we capitalized on getting that back over to us.
Also, the website that you want, the website that is currently active is what?
Thehyperfarmer.com.
That's
Yes.
the key right there. Catch that. Thehyperfarmer. Got it. THEHYPER farmer.com.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
And then more to come on hyperfarmer.com.
Well, it sounds like that's just going to be just another subsidiary of what you can showcase, basically, correct?
Yeah, all of the other websites, they're going to eventually just merge into that, if you will.
Perfect. Awesome. Jason, thank you so much for being on today. This was a lot of awesome content. Real estate agents, even mortgage professionals. If you don't know the Hyper Farmer, you need to go check them out. Shoot them an email. Go check them out online, thehyperfarmer.com. Jason, thank you so much for being on today, and I look forward to seeing you in early April.
I can't wait either, Jeff. Thanks for having me today, brother.
Bye, brother.
All right, man. Bye.
If you're looking to elevate your business, aligned with continual innovation and evolution, Jeff wants to talk to you. Go to FitzerMortgageTeam.com and connect with him today.